on, y'all? It's Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. As you guys can see, a little bit of a different setting. Just another room, probably for the next video or two, maybe three. But we'll get back to our old setting after this little run. But today we are bringing a recap video. Yesterday was the Trenches Unforgivable event. Clean versus Dot did not go down. It was a battle I wasn't looking forward to that much anyways, so obviously doesn't end up going down. I think Clean wasn't able to show up, so it was already kind of a condensed card, even got a little bit smaller. Main event of Eazy versus Clips has many things to talk about, which is why I'm kind of do a whole own section, or at least talk about that a little bit longer than some of these other battles. But undercard had things that happen on it, maybe not the most impactful, maybe a lot of lopsided wins for the most part, but things happened nonetheless. So we're going to recap it as per usual, cover the undercard, then obviously we'll talk about the main event at the end. So starting from the bottom of the card, they had Loyal Savage versus, I don't even remember whose opponent was, non-tourney battle, right? Loyal Savage was in the beginning of the tourney, just kind of like a just early one-off. He won, opponent was amateur level, choking, things of that nature, so he wins the battle kind of by default. And then you get into the tournament battles, right? The last two semifinal tournaments for battles for the trenches, leading to who your last two would be and who's going to battle for the money. I think it's 10K, 5K, something like that. The first one was Z the Dropout versus Stackboy Chuck. Listen, it's an RA battle here, an average battle, I'd say, but while I got to give these gentlemen credit for making it to this part of the tourney, it definitely feels like whoever the winner of this tournament is who won the battle. We're going to talk about it in a second between Jay Moore and King, but Z the Dropout ended up getting the judge result. I thought Chuck actually hit higher highs, had better bars. I actually might even had him winning, but he wasn't the cleanest. Not that he choked, but he had a lot of repeat, just stumbling. The pace wasn't perfect. Z isn't the most standout performer, but he's pretty clean with his performance, so I'm pretty sure that's why that led to the judge decision. But overall, battle. Then you get Jay Moore versus King. Very good battle. There'll be only one critique I have, but you got to start out with the positives, because both of them gave a great performance. King in particular has gotten better every time I've seen him so far since he stepped on the trenches. A lot of energy, just a power puncher, but he really is witty. At first I thought he'd be so over animated that it would just be too much, but he says consistently fire shit. You know what I'm saying? Even though the energy is super up there, it's in that Danny Myers kind of realm where it's very passionate for the battle, right? Just primal screams in his face, and not everybody can pull that off. Like I said, for me, I was oh, this is gonna get tiring after a while, but so far he's only impressed more and more, and Jay Moore has been as good as Jay Moore has been recently. I'd say that we're getting to the point. Listen, drug content, love it, love the drug talk, street talk content, but when you have an opponent, it's gonna be tailored for you, especially when they're able to reach you at that level content wise. It's going to make you have to step out of your box a little bit more. And King ended up getting the judge result over here over Jay Moore. Many people had him winning the first two rounds of the battle, but really all three of his rounds were fantastic. The only issue that I have with this battle on both sides is just it's too long. It's just too long. I think it's an hour-long battle, a little over an hour. I remember at the end, we were in the middle of Jay Moore's second. It was already a 40-minute battle. And the thing is they're rapping great. I don't want to put the rapping down at all, but I'm going to be real with you, bro. Unless we're talking big stage epics, you know what I'm saying? We've had some hour-long battles where it's a SM headliners, you go to another league, they're Mook and Verb, a long battle, right? But you're not Mook and Verb. You're the semifinal for the trenches, and wow, both of you were rapping very, very good. It's only so much that the ears can, receive material-wise until people might check out a little bit mentally. So I think the length of the battle is going to hurt the replay value, but the actual 6 rounds, 3 rounds from each, was very quality. With King winning, I kind of gave my prediction. It's going to be King versus the Dropout, and I for sure have King winning that battle. You could beat Jay Moore the way you did. I definitely think you can go and win that. And as for Jay Moore, I believe he has T-Top on Chrome in June. I believe Remy said something about that. Very fire battle, and a good look for him, even getting knocked out of the tourney, to go and give him a vet. Good way to keep building up Jay Moore in the trenches. So King versus Jay Moore, battle of the night as well. Can say that right here. So it has some positives. Best battle of the tourney so far, unless there's one that isn't an hour long that you like. And overall, pretty good look for both sides. And then you can get into Don Marino versus Kutta. Kutta was another entry in the tournament. That was out in the first round, and then Don's been doing he's been doing his thing lately. He beat Rosenberg in the 1-rounder, from what I heard. I didn't get to watch that. Shout out Camp Battle Rap Committee out in Ohio. So yeah, he ends up getting that win over Rose, even though it's a one rounder. His first versus Ave was really good. He did go on to lose the battle. You know what I'm saying? He was a heavy underdog, but he did have a good first versus Ave. And now here he bodied Kutta. Um, I don't know about Kutta in the long run. I mean, obviously the trenches are going to just give all of these guys they picked up a chance, but between the choking and just the round, the content, it really was a mismatch. If it's a mismatch versus Don Marino, I'm not really sure where I see you elevating into the future. Guy didn't give too many glimpses or flashes, but you got to give Don his credit. Even kind of in cruise control. You know, at times you can tell he's got the beer in his hand, kind of even at times stumbling a little bit, nothing major because he still went on to body his opponent. But a clean little win there. And then you get into the top two battles of the night. And besides the main event, only other battle to talk about is Rosenberg Raw versus Ave. And the first round of this battle, like a first round of a few Ave battles, I was a little nervous. He rapped solid. I felt like he didn't have that haymaker power, but he tends to not have that in his first rounds recently. I've noticed Ave is doing a lot more uphill writing. Usually his second is his best. His third will be angle-based, tailor-based, right? So I thought Ave punched good, but I thought Rose kind of outpunched him in the first. Thought he a little bit of angle, but a lot of real talk for the most part. It is just like a Rose round, like his second verse Mike P. You know, let's say like a little bit of angling in there, but for the most part, it's just real talk. Just kind of punching him in the mouth too. And I had Rosenberg edging the first round. The first round of the battle was close, but I had him edging it. But from there, it was all Ave. Ave clearly wins the second of this battle. Rose gets into an angle bout. Ave asking Rose to get on RB, things of that nature. A good round, but just not enough to a power punching round that Ave had. And like the pattern I talked about before, Ave angled in the third, going at Rose for his RB contract situation, the status in battle rap, and Rose ends up choking in the third. He wasn't going to have a good enough round anyways, but he ends up choking. 2-1 or 3-0 Ave clear. Not the craziest win, but just keeps getting those solid wins together like he did last year and like he's doing so far in 2024. So, the hardest opponent Ave has had this year so far, and I don't even know, out of all the performances so far, it's probably on par with the rest, like the Marv performance, like the Don performance. Probably a round you don't like that much in it. There's 2 rounds you really do, and he's showing more of an all-around bag. Got to give Ave his credit. So now that that's out of the way, it leaves you with the main event, which is going to be the main talking point from this event, because it's crazy, because it was unexpected. Eazy the block captain versus Charlie Clips, right? And if you saw me predict it, everyone else predict it. Not excited for this battle due to Clips' recent form. I wasn't even that crazy over the matchup. I know that there had been noise months. I mean, you even look probably a little over a year ago when he did the 15 Minutes of Fame interview. Eazy called out Clips. And people felt like, all right, now he's coming to get this million views. I think I even said it. This is a battle just to get that million views, or just try to fill out the resume, even though it's not the hardest fight. And when Eazy started rapping the first round of this battle, I thought his round was decent. I thought it was okay, and maybe it's a bit of expectations for Eazy. I mean, I thought it was like 5, maybe 6 out of 10 round, but considering the level of battler, you don't get a lot of 5 out of 10 rounds from him. Punching, you know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. He had a paperclip haymaker I liked. Hold it together over that paperclip. I butchered it a little bit, but he had a super fire paperclip haymaker at the end of his first. But overall, it was just a pretty beatable first. And then Clips goes in the first. And listen, he is a good first round. He has done this before, though. Does this versus Rose. Does this versus Danny in the rematch. Shit, did it versus Jazz the Rapper. So it's not always a for sure sign. But the man was up 1-0 pretty early into his round. He did this kind of like dentistry concept, kind of breaking down Eazy's career moves, but also in a parallel, like scheming with all types of different stuff with teeth, smacking, split a tooth, etc. We all know that Eazy's had his, has got his teeth done since he's gotten arisen in his battle rap career. So he kind of played off of that, and I thought he had a really good first. It tailed off a little bit towards the end of his first. But he had won the round, in my opinion, pretty clear about 2/3 of the way through. I see some people saying it's close. Maybe that's just like not liking Clips' basic material, but I don't know. I thought the first round was really clear in this battle. So then Eazy goes in the second, and as he should, being the top level, not just top tier, but really top shelf battler that he is, has a much better second. Angles a little bit in that second with Clips' bullshitting. Just does better bar for bar wise. Thought was punching on Clips. This was more of the round you're looking for. Understandable, right? You go down 1-0 and now you respond. But at the end of Eazy's second, he has a moment where clearly he's trying to kind of find his round, and it reminded me of his second versus Disaster that some people were saying was a choke, where he kind of like freestyled around for a minute, then took a second, then cut his round. But in my opinion, this way he did it in the second versus Clips was way less smooth, way more obvious. Not the same way versus Diz, where kind of freestyle the bar here and there, and then he cut it in 2 seconds. That was more awkward. This was not good. I don't really know how else to put it. He really choked at the end of his second, and it was unnecessary. It's like he waited. He thought he was going to get it, but he didn't, and just he waited long enough that it's way too obvious to not count. So although he had a good second, he chokes. He ends on a choke at the end of it, and then clips his second, unfortunately. But fortunately and fortunately, it's not really that good of a round. But unfortunately for Eazy, you choked. So really, he just got to be clean, and that's what he did. I don't think Clips' second is like bad. It's not the complete freestyle fest that we're used to, but it's clearly, for the most part, you can tell pace-wise, a little bit more joking. What did he have? He had every G knows where the max is. He got into just scheming about Philly shit. That's what he did versus A-Ward. He just all types of Philly references out of nowhere. I think he had a Tobias Harris bar in the second, too. Something that nature. So really just clowned on Eazy a bit. Had an okay round, but this was really about Eazy throwing. If Eazy just ends his round, cuts it early, no choke, he wins this round. That's just what it is. But he didn't do that. Even though he did cut it, he waited just a little bit too long, where I have to view that as a choke. So I did have Eazy losing the second round. Clips was up 2-0 clear. It should have been 1-1, but he was up 2-0 clear going to the third. And by then, I got to give it to Eazy. He actually showed composure in his third, and his third is a pretty good round, too. Got to be his best round, right? Because he didn't choke in it, and quality-wise, it matches up to that to the second. So it is his best round. He also mentioned that his mother had passed very recently before the battle. Super duper duper condolences, losing any family member, but let alone someone that close to you, that key in your life before a battle, to even go on and perform. A lot of battlers would have called it off, and we would have completely understood. So there is things that Eazy did not do good in this battle. This is one of the weaker Eazy performances we've seen since he became a star, but I'm not going to lie, adding that context to it a little bit, I'm not going to sit here and just, fucking bomb on the guy. Of all the reasons that have been given for bad performances, this is one that a lot of people, like I said, wouldn't have even performed under the circumstances. So sending him good energy, and obviously condolences during this time. So he has a good third, and then Clips goes in the third, and then kind of expected when you're battling Eazy at this point. He has a Remy-centric third, talking about the Pap situations. Even before that, though, I thought he was punching on Eazy pretty good before. Had a couple algorithm bars in the beginning. It's a real character breakdown type of third, plus working on that angle that we know is still potent versus Eazy right now, and he pulled it off great. He said Eazy was the dude topping Remy off in the lean back video, which is stupid and absolutely hilarious. But yeah, man, it was an elite Clips, and really he finished out, even though towards the end of his third, it went on a little too long. He almost started freestyling around and making it weird. But by then he already won clear, similar to the first, but a little bit more dominant. It's not a Geechee Gotti third for Eazy by any means, but it's another great third round, kind of version of the angle, and it wrapped up a 3-0 victory for Charlie Clips over Eazy. And that is my full review there, man, for the Unforgivable card, as well as the main event of Eazy and Clips. And just to go over everything again, got to give the guys that are going to be in the finals for the tourney credit. I don't know if the finals will go down on like a Trenches card or a later Chrome card. Maybe you earn your way up, get onto the bigger league. Wouldn't be mad at that, but you got to shout out King and Z the Dropout for making it. Don catches another, pretty clean, easy win. And got to give Av his credit as well. Like I said, we talked about the wins over Rose, and I don't think he's had that big, like on his 2024, I don't think he's had that power piece yet to really define it, but he's just handling business, and you can't really be down on that. I think the Marv win and the Rose wins, like I said, while not those crazy big wins, they're very solid. So later in the year, gets that top tier that he's either like 50-50 with in terms of predictions, or maybe the underdog and gets a big win or a high quality debatable. I think that'll be that champion type of piece where you can be like, this is the best thing I did, and I have these 3 or 4 other battles that add to it and complement it well. Overall, it's a case. And then you have Eazy versus Clips, and we already talked about how the battle went down in terms of where they go after this. How does it affect them? Clips earns the benefit of the doubt for a bit, so hopefully he doesn't go and not give a fuck his next 10 battles, but unfortunately, if he does, he's going to just point to this and be like, last time y'all doubted me, I smoked one of the hottest rappers alive right now, which is 100% true. And if Clips comes out, if Clips was only to come out 2 or 3 times a year, but we were getting like this level of Clips, I'm very much so for it. I don't think it was like 10 out of 10. This isn't 2014 clips, but we're looking at like an 8.5 out of 10 type of performance here. Outside that dip in the second, I thought his third was great. I thought his first was really good. And as for Eazy, like I said, condolences once again. After this, I'm hoping that he takes some time, focus on himself, family, mental health, things like that. But I do have this as Eazy's third loss in a row. John battle's very good and debatable, so we could go back and forth about that. But the Geechee battle was a tough look. That was the streak ender. John at home, like I said, debatable. Thought he did good, but John was the underdog. I, as well as many others, had him winning that battle. And now Clips, even though numerically he won't show up as the same underdog, it was maybe even a more dramatic situation in terms of how many people thought Eazy was going to beat Clips. And Clips gets a clear win. Eazy even admitted to the loss on camera afterwards, which he has not done at all. So you got to give credit where credit's due. I don't know where Eazy's next move will be after this. It's definitely a big flip from winning 15 in a row to losing 3 in a row, but it's the reality, bro. You got to go through different eras, different phases of the career, and how you bounce back from that. You take great winning streak, but since the Geechee battle, the things that have been going on, it's all about how you respond. So a little bit of a dip here, but hopefully he was able to get that power impact performance to get back on track. That's all about what makes people legends. They are going to have their all-time great runs. They're going to have some dips, but for the most part, they always stay in the green more than they stay in the red, and that's what Eazy has to figure out how to do here over his next few battles. But Chrome is today, a little bit later today, so I will be covering that. If you want to follow me, Twitter's in the description. I'm always doing updates, and just, even though it's live pay-per-view, I just like talking through the event. If you want to chop up anything you're watching live, go hit me up on there, man. But it's been Jay Small Reviews again, y'all. As I said, like, comment, subscribe. Expect the Chrome review probably tomorrow, so I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace.